And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to take a look at a Kickstarter release. This is not a preview, this is a review of a finished product. We're going to take a look at Cartoona by Robert Burke. Now this is a game that's going to be a little bit for the younger crowd, but it does have an adult variant. You're going to be trying to put together animals using tiles, different tiles of heads and tails and ears and noses and bodies and feet, all of different colors and different wacky shapes, trying to put them all together in order to score points. And the more like your tiles are, the more same color, the more likely you are to score more points and hopefully win the game. So real quick, we'll take a look at what you get inside of this box and how the game plays, and then we'll come back here and we'll get my final opinions on Cartoona. So here you can see the components for Cartoona. I've got this set up for a 6-player advanced version of the game. Now note there are several different versions. You can play singles, you can play teams, you can play advanced, which includes these cards, or you can play basic, which doesn't. There's even a children's version of the game where basically you just set the tiles out and you set a goal for your children, and you try and see if they can accomplish that goal by putting the tiles together. But in the single-player advanced version, everybody's going to have one of these block shield things that blocks all of their tiles from being seen. And on here you can see the detail about what tiles are included in the game. It tells you what the front body tiles, what the back body tiles are, the heads and the ears and everything else. But also important to note is that there's different rarities of tiles. You'll see purple here only exists in these front body tiles and not in the back body tiles. Or you'll see that pink and yellow and blue all have different rarities, so blue being the most rare and other ones being less rare. But there's a lot of information on here about what's in these piles of tiles. Everybody has one of these to block what they have. Now in addition to that, at the beginning of the game each player is going to get 5 tiles from these stacks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're going to get 2 cards from the card stack. And using these tiles and cards, they're going to be trying to make creatures by putting the tiles and cards together. Let me slide these out of the way now. So, at the beginning of the game, everybody has this, and they're trying to score 50 points on this score track by completing creatures and basically putting them out of the game, setting them face down and scoring the points. So we'll move that out of the way now. Now, as I said, I start the game with 5 tiles. So what we can see here is I have a couple of tiles that are the same body part. These are ear tiles. This tile right here is a nose tile in pink. This one right here is a front body tile, also going to be a standing body tile, and this one is a head. So they're not labeled because they're not front or back specific. Some of the feet tiles, if you look at them, like this one right here, will have a letter at the top right-hand corner. This is a front foot, and the point value on here is 3 points when used and finished and scored. Or these here are also front feet, but these ones are yellow, so you get the idea. Front and back will be labeled. Now, on your turn, you're going to do several things. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to draw 1 tile and add it to your supply. So this is the top of a head. This would fit right here if I were to play them both out. In addition to that, I'm going to draw a card, and I'm going to add this to my supply of cards. This one is a swap card, and it says swap any tile in your hand with another tile in play. They must be the same body part. So you can swap with somebody else's creature with a tile from your hand to either mess up their creature or to make your creature better. So on my turn, now that I've drawn a card and I've drawn a tile, I can play 1 tile and play 1 card. So maybe I decide to play out this guy's head. It's worth 5 points because it's purple, and purple's pretty rare. The rest of these would be hidden behind my screen down here somewhere. So I could play this out, and then I could look at my cards and see if I wanted to play any cards. So we'll see here that I could play this on any yellow tile, and it would be worth plus 2 points. Well, I don't have any yellows, so that's no good to me. And I have this one here. It says, feats don't fail me now. I can play a front feet as a back feet, or a back feet as a front feet. Well, that also doesn't help me. I'm not far enough along, so I would pass, and I would end my turn. Now, the next player will then take their turn by doing the same thing. They'd draw a tile, draw a card, play a tile, and play a card if they wanted to. And they would pass on to the next player, eventually getting back to me. So I would draw another tile, I got some feet, I would draw another card, and then I would be able to play any of these out here. Now, the idea is that I want to play things of light color. So if I manage to complete a creature, meaning that it has a head, a full head with a top and the nose, a body, front and back if it needs it, and as well as feet, I'm going to be able to score double points if it's all in the same color. If it's not in the same color, I'm actually only going to get the printed points. So you'll see that it's better to try and wait for more points unless you need to rush it out in order to finish it to get points to finish and beat somebody in the game. So It kind of depends on whether you're playing the long game in order to get more points from each creature, or you're playing the short game in order to finish creatures faster. But essentially, turn by turn, you're going to be adding pieces here. So now I've added this on here, and it's not going to be worth double points because I played out the pink tile on the purple tile. But maybe I can finish this creature. In addition, I could start a new creature, and you can have 2 out at a time during the game. So right now, if I started a new creature, I'd have my 2, and I wouldn't be able to start anything new until I finished one of them. And essentially, you're going to keep on in this way. So maybe when you get new cards, you could say this one, if I got a tile with 3 eyes, well, these don't have 3 eyes, but if I got one, I would be able to play that on there and get plus 3 points. But as the game goes on, let's just build a creature real fast. So once you've finished animals, like you can see in these examples here, these are 2 finished animals, you can choose to score them on your turn when you finish them, or you can choose to wait longer, hoping maybe you'll get a card that will give you more points for it, or maybe you can get a card that will allow you to swap out one of the pieces of your animal with one from your hand or with one from your opponent to get a all same colored animal, which of course would be better. So let's look at these animals here. This one is all the same color. Now we can say that because this body gives you a choice. It's either pink or purple. So what you do is if you decided to score this, which you probably would, you would add up the points. So 4 plus 4 is 8, we have 5 more is 13, and 3 more is 16, and that would be doubled because this animal is all the same color. So we'd get 32 points for this animal. That's more than half of what we need to win the game. That's a pretty good scoring animal, but purple's very rare, so this is unlikely to happen in the real game. So we would take all these, we would flip them over, and they'd be scored, and I'd get 32 points on this crazy designed score track. A little bit too chaotic in my opinion, but no big deal. Now, the other one here is worth significantly less points, even though it has more pieces in it. So we have 1 and 1 and 1 is a total of 3, plus 3 more is 6, 10, 14, 15 points, and it's not doubled. So we're going to get 15 points for this large animal, which took significantly more tiles, and probably more time to make, but you could probably get it done, well, maybe it didn't take more time to make because they're all different and mismatched and you probably weren't waiting for pieces. So maybe you can get it done faster and score this. Now, we would again take those and we'd flip them all over, but maybe this is an animal we would wait to score because we could get cards to make it better, but you also have to make sure that you don't wait and let your opponent get cards to make them worse or trade things out. So you can steal cards from your opponent or tiles from your opponent. You can subtract points from some of them. Some of them will let you replace things with a specific card or with a specific tile, like the front to back reverse feet tile. But basically, through the game, you're trying to build animals 1 or 2 at a time in order to get the most points the fastest and get to 50 points first, and that player will be the winner. Now, one more thing real fast is that there's these special tiles that are just single one-off animals. You see, you can play these to the table, you can score them right away, and they're basically just worth points. You play it out, it's done, it's worth the points on it, you get those points right away. So if you're lucky enough to draw one of these, and you have a free spot for an animal, you can play this out to the table and score some points immediately. Well, there you have it. That is Cartoona, a title you probably weren't expecting to see me review because you wouldn't think this would be my style of game. And to be perfectly honest, it's not my style of game, but that's okay because I can definitely see the merits of it. And there are quite a few merits of this game. Now, first off, we played it and we really enjoyed it, even though it's not typically the style of game we would have on the table. Being heavy, medium heavy Euro gamers, and this being a lighter, goofy, fun, little kids type game, but with the strategy that's there for adults if you want to use it. And it is there, so the advanced version of the game where you use the cards has some strategy in trying to keep your pieces out on the table for as long as possible to upgrade them, but not waiting too long so as your opponent messes up your plans or steals a tile that you want to have, or whatever the case may be. So there's some strategy in tile placement, what to hold on to and what not to hold on to, and what cards to play and how long to let things sit. Now, in addition, the other versions of the game, the basic version for, more introductory gamers or for, older children, and then the children's version with the sheet of little ideas that it kind of provides for parents to provide goals for their children to learn how to build these animals, to basically learn from the tiles, colors, shapes, positions of all the different body parts in order to kind of just teach them things about whatever you might want to teach them about spatial reasoning and stuff like that. So there's a lot of merits to this game. It is fun, it is goofy. We even added our own little rule where at the end you had to name your animal or you couldn't score it. So you had to give it a goofy name that kind of reflected the parts of its body. So with all of that said, I think Cartoona has a great audience in children, young, and a little bit older, as well as in the lighter gaming crowd. And I think it's a game that a lot of people enjoy and should probably check out.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.